OK, only one place to start. It has been the transfer saga of the summer, Manchester United's pursuit of Jadon Sancho. Dharmesh, you've been across this deal the entire time. You've always told us that a deal was coming. Just sum up the developments tonight.
Well, yeah, I have been talking about it for the past 6 weeks, haven't I? Look, big developments this evening. We were expecting Manchester United to go in with an offer for the Borussia Dortmund winger Jadon Sancho this week, and they have. We've been told that they have gone in with an offer worth up to 100 million euros. That's a little over 91 million pounds. It breaks down as an initial fee of 80 million euros plus add-ons that would take it up to 100 million euros or 91 million pounds. And it's our information, Borussia Dortmund have rejected that bid for Jadon Sancho. Now, Dortmund's valuation had two conditions attached to it. Firstly, they wanted a guaranteed 120 million euros for Jadon Sancho. That's around 108 million pounds. And they wanted that 108 million pounds by August the 10th. Now, evidently, United are short of that valuation, and they are also 50 days past the deadline set by Borussia Dortmund for when they wanted that bid to come in. The question is now, what do Manchester United do next? Do they go back in with an improved offer for Jadon Sancho? If they do go back in with an improved offer, will Sancho then agitate for a move? Will he ask Borussia Dortmund he wants to leave? Will he tell them, I want to talk to Manchester United because I'm willing to go to Old Trafford? Put it this way, though, Dortmund are under no pressure to sell Jadon Sancho. Sancho has got 3 years left on his contract. Furthermore, with 6 days of this transfer window to go, because they've stuck steadfastly to their stance that he is not for sale, that he is staying at Borussia Dortmund, they have not been in the market for a replacement. So if they were to let Jadon Sancho go, they've got such limited time to bring in someone to replace him. Look, United have made their move to the tune of up to 100 million euros. Let's get that straight. A move that has been rejected by Borussia Dortmund. That is where we are at the moment. Let's see now what happens next as far as Manchester United are concerned, as far as Jadon Sancho is concerned, and what Borussia Dortmund's response will be if United go back in with a higher offer and Jadon Sancho goes to Dortmund and says, listen, let me talk to them. Well, 6 days to go until the international window closes. It feels like deadline day already in terms of some drama over in Dortmund. Gary Cotterill is there for us tonight. There has been some added intrigue on this evening. Gary, where is Jadon Sancho?
Well, that is a good question. He was supposed to be landing about now in Munich ahead of the German Super Cup final tomorrow night. The whole squad got on a plane at Borussia Dortmund Airport, or I should say Dortmund Airport, but the Borussia Dortmund stand at the airport. They filed in one by one, ready to get onto that plane to fly for that game. Jadon Sancho wasn't among them. The only one, really, the only big star not among them. The club say that, don't read too much into that, he's got respiratory problems. Well, that breathtaking offer, respiratory, breathtaking. See what I did there? I wonder if that actually has something to do with whether or not, as Dharmesh suggested there, that he has begun to agitate because this offer now has come in. Up until now, he hasn't agitated at all. He's been perfectly calm, perfectly happy to stay for at least another year at the club and play his football at Borussia Dortmund. That was because, of course, no offer had come in, but now an offer has come in, and it's such a big offer, not as big as Borussia Dortmund want, but a big offer. Will his situation, will his attitude change? But he's not on that plane. Manchester United fans will certainly be reading more into it than just him having an illness. By the way, he was tested for COVID-19 yesterday, and that test was negative. So if it is a respiratory problem, it's nothing too serious. And we wait to find out when he'll come back to this training ground and begin training again. Will he come in tomorrow for checks because he's supposed to be ill and he's not in Munich with the rest of the team? Very, very intriguing, as you say. Borussia Dortmund has said all the while, as Dharmesh said, they are not going to sell the player. That was even their stance earlier today. And they even wheeled out the captain to say that Jadon Sancho had agreed to stay for another year, and the club were happy to have him because he was so important. But we wait to see.
Gary, your presence in Dortmund was met with a degree of cynicism on the ground. Your job now, I guess, is to go and find Jadon. Where is he?
Well, he's probably at home. You would have thought he was at home. We will try and find him. We'll be down here tomorrow to see if he turns up for training. We were laughed at, you're quite right. I've been spoken to by supporters, by the club itself, by other journalists, particularly the German media, who say, why are you here? We've written this deal off. There is no way this deal is going to happen. We're not even reporting it anymore. That question wouldn't have been asked to the club captain. If I hadn't have asked Sky Germany to ask it on our behalf, we weren't allowed in to the gathering at the training ground here because of the COVID restrictions. We're not one of the local media, are the only ones allowed in. They're not even asking the question anymore. I bet that's going to change now, though.
I suspect it will, Gary. Thanks for that, and keep up the hard work on the ground over there. Thanks for that, Gary. OK, former Bayern Munich forward Alan McInally joins us now live. He'll be providing updates for us on Tottenham's match with Chelsea later. Alan, what do you make of tonight's events?
I must admit, when you guys have been on most of the weeks, I've been kind of throwing stuff at the TV saying Michael Zorc said, and who incidentally the general manager of Dortmund rather, he said he's not going anywhere. And normally when he says something, it normally kind of happens. But then I'm leaving the house tonight to come into the studio here at Wilmslow to do the game tonight, and all of a sudden Jadon doesn't fly with the team down to Munich, and I was thinking, oh wow, that might genuinely be something. Now obviously we can't make fun of the respiratory thing because obviously he may have a genuine problem, but they could have said a hamstring or a toe stub or he cut his finger doing his chicken or whatever it is, but that would have maybe thought to me, oh wait a minute, maybe this deal can actually happen. But Darmish has said something that is simply quite still on the table. They haven't met Dortmund's price tag, they haven't done it in the time scale. And there is no reason I would have thought that Dortmund would have had to have rolled out Marco Reus, the captain of the football club, to say Jordan's staying for another year. So for me, nothing's happened. It's as simple as that. He won't be going. And and the other thing is, I live up in the northwest here. I've got hundreds of Manchester United fans, and they're like, why in goodness name, if we're the #1 club, the biggest club in the world, have we not just gone in and said, here's 125 million. He's going to be our player. If Man U are that big, they're looking at, I don't know, Kimpembe or Mbappe or Kane or, proper marquee signings. And I'm throwing Neymar, something as big as that. But to pin everything in Jadon Sancho, where incidentally, and I'm sorry to go on a little bit here, I'm sure you want to come back in, Brian, or Darmish, or Carvey, that ain't the place they need to be spending money on, in my opinion, Manchester United. But they're still going for him. I still think they're going to fall short.
Alan, it's Darmish. You say you think they're going to fall short, but can this change if Jadon Sancho says to Borussia Dortmund, I want to listen to what Manchester United have to say, I want to talk to them?
Darmish, I thought that had already been done, partner, because as far as I'm aware, the contract's been agreed, the agent's fee's been agreed, and I'm presuming then that his agent has spoken to him and say, look, you're getting 30 quid a week, that's what we agreed, that's what it's going to be. So I thought all that bit was done, as though Jordan had been quite happy. Now, if he now throws a curveball in and really says to Borussia Dortmund, I really want to go, I genuinely want to go, I don't understand where 80 million to 90 million just for them to offer 100 million now is going to change his mind that much. If Manchester United really want this lad, if they really want Jadon Sancho, and it's Manchester United, just pay 120 million. Get it done, get the boy here, and we can talk about something else.
Alan McInally for us. Thanks so much indeed. I know you're going to be doing the Tottenham-Chelsea match for us later. We don't want you throwing anything at the TV when you're watching us either, Alan. But no, thanks a lot for the update there. Darmish, in terms of what Alan was saying, that the bids there has been rejected, though. So in terms of Jadon Sancho, do they stick or do they go for alternatives?
Potentially they do go for alternatives. It all depends, like we've been explaining, what will United's next step be? Yes, Jadon Sancho is their #1 target. Does he remain their #1 target after having this bid rejected? You would think so soon after having that bid rejected, you would think that he still does remain Manchester United's #1 target. But as we know, this deal was always going to prove problematic because the transfer fee was such a huge one at a time when so many clubs, Manchester United are not exempt from that as well, were being financially hit by the COVID pandemic, and so many of their income streams had disappeared. So that's why Manchester United weren't willing to go to 120 million euros. Let's see if they go back and edge towards that figure that Borussia Dortmund want. But the longer it goes on, there's only 6 days left now. Dortmund are going to wonder, we can't bring in a replacement. But then Dortmund might be put in a position where they're going to have to think about this, because if they can't bring in a replacement, that's one thing. But are they going to get this kind of money again for Jadon Sancho? They don't know what the forecast is going to be this time next summer with regard to financial impacts on clubs where COVID is taking us and where the pandemic is taking us. Let's leave Jadon Sancho aside for 1 second and just say United do move for potential alternatives. Now, we told you yesterday that as much as they were hopeful of getting Sancho, there was a lot of work, perhaps even more work being done behind the scenes on potential alternatives. Earlier in the window, we were mentioning names, weren't we? Inter Milan's Ivan Perisic. We were talking about Juventus's Douglas Costa, the Bayern Munich Champions League winning goal scorer in Kingsley Coman. They were all being linked with Manchester United. One name that has emerged today, and it has been bandied around in the past week, is Watford's Ismaila Sarr. Now, we're told there is an interest from Manchester United. From Watford's perspective, this would only happen if it's a permanent deal. They are not willing to consider a loan, and they value Ismaila Sarr at around £50 million. Significantly, any move for Sarr does not have to be completed by October the 5th, because their domestic transfer window lasts until October the 16th. So Manchester United are doing what they wanted to do with Jadon Sancho. They want to try and get Jadon Sancho in. They're going to do all they can to get Jadon Sancho in before the October the 5th deadline. If they have other alternatives at Europe's big clubs aside of Jadon Sancho, they may be trying to get them in before October the 5th if Sancho doesn't work out. If they don't get anyone in by October the 5th, they might look then at Ismaila Sarr. I think they've kind of just sounded Sarr and Watford out about the possibility of Ismaila Sarr joining. But they know from October the 5th to October the 16th, they've got another 11 days to try and complete a deal if they haven't filled that right-sided forward position that they so desperately want to fill. Now, another player that United are looking at is Barcelona's Ousmane Dembele. Significantly, he wasn't in the starting 11 for Ronald Koeman's first match in charge in La Liga for Barcelona over the weekend. However, a source close to Ousmane Dembele has told our colleagues at Sky in Germany that Dembele wants to stay at Barcelona. But look, plenty of things can still change with regard to that, because if Dembele finds that he is not part of Ronald Koeman's first 11, he may then have to think about his future. Let's see what United do then.
And it feels like the end game very much in sight. Cavi, what about players who could be leaving Manchester United in the next 6 days, certainly by the international window?
Well, the one that could go through tomorrow is Andreas Pereira. He's expected to join Lazio within the next 24 hours. It will be on loan, and I think there will be an option for Lazio to buy him next summer for about £20 million. I think Lazio will be paying all his wages. Interesting that he signed a new long-term contract at Manchester United just last summer. Diogo Dalot, he's in talks about moving to AC Milan. Of course, they're interested in signing Serge Aurier as well from Spurs. Chris Smalling, no movement, stalemate with Roma at the moment. Manchester United want up to £20 million for him. Roma offering about half that. Sergio Romero, the third choice goalkeeper, still no serious offers for him. The latest on United talks with Porto about Alex Telles, the Porto left back. Again, United are offering about £12 million, which they think is a fair offer for a player who is out of contract next summer. But Porto want about £18 million. And just two final Manchester United lines from our colleague at Sky in Italy, Gianluca Di Marzio, who this afternoon has said that United have been offered the chance to sign Edison Cavani, who's a free agent after leaving PSG, and also Luka Jovic on loan from Real Madrid. Those are two stories from Sky Italy and Gianluca Di Marzio.